back, and I am Stephen Norris, and as always, my co-host, Michael Dodd, Megastar Financial, and today we're talking about 1031 exchanges. Now, there's been a lot of questions to us about this topic, so we wanted to cover it here in this video. So, as most of you may know, a 1031 is where we are selling a piece of real estate to buy another piece of real estate in order to avoid paying capital gains. That's why everybody does that activity, all right? But there are certain things within the realm of the process of the 1031 that we have to be aware about, which is what we're going to talk about here today. All right. So first of all, when it comes to selling a piece of real estate and then buying another piece of real estate, what exactly can I buy from what I sold? People think, well, do I have to do commercial to commercial, residential to residential? And the answer is no. You can sell whatever you want, buy whatever you want. It just has to be a piece of real estate. As an example, you can sell a plot of land to buy a building. You can sell a house to go buy a mall. You can sell a mall to go buy 20 different plots to go build some single family houses on there. It's whatever you want it to do, as long as it is qualifying real estate, which your realtor in your area should be an expert about. So make sure that they have all their ducks in a row. Okay. Now that's the first piece of the process right there they have to know about. The second part is going to be about when you actually conduct your 1031, it has to go through what's called a 1031 intermediary, which over here at our company, with mine, we actually are a qualified 1031 intermediary. So if you guys have any questions, please reach out to me directly. We can handle processes in all 50 states. So I just want to let you guys know about that. Now, once you have your qualified 1031 intermediary, now you guys have the whole process about you have to sell the property. And then once it is sold, the funds go into that account with the intermediary. And now your clock starts. Now, everybody knows that you have 45 days to identify the property that you're looking to buy and 180 days to close on that property. With that being said, there are a couple of different rules within those timelines I want to tell you guys about. So there's three of them. You have the 3 property rule, you have the 200% rule, and then you have the 95% rule. And these things are very, very simple, all right? So the 3 property rule, you can identify up to 3 properties as potential purchases, regardless of their market values. All right. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, the 200% rule. It says very simply, this allows you to identify as many pieces of real estate that you want to buy as long as it does not exceed 200% of the value of the property being sold. As an example, sell a property for $500,000. You want to go buy 4 plots of land that are $250,000 each. That equals $1 million, right? That's the 200% rule, all right? That's how that math breaks down very simply. Third rule is the 95% rule. It says very simply, it allows you to identify as many properties as you want, as long as it is your intention to acquire 95% or more of those properties. Because obviously the 45-day rule said you have to identify a property you want to buy. Well, what happens if that property gets sold or somebody else comes in prior to you and buys that? You have to go buy another property, right? So just be sure you are very clear with your realtor and your lender exactly what you want to do and why you are doing that in the first place, all right? Now, Michael's going to be talking about the dangers about 1031s and the most important questions that he does get from his clientele.
Right. Thanks, Stephen. I mean, so the things that we see, the biggest thing here is that these rules that Stephen was talking about, these are chiseled in with the IRS. There's no way to get around them. It's their rules on this. So you really need to follow what your 1031 exchange expert is telling you and the exchange company, the intermediary that he was talking about. Stephen has that about. Big things that sometimes we see is people want to do a 1031 exchange and they don't really need to. And an example of that is someone that wouldn't really want to do a 1031 exchange if you have a loss, since there was no capital gains to pay taxes on, you don't really want to do that. Or if you're someone that is in a 10 or 12% income bracket, you probably don't need to do a 1031 exchange in that case because you're not being taxed. You're not being taxed on those capital gains. That kind of stopped and changed a long time ago. So that's why it's so important to make sure that you're talking to someone that is an expert on the 1031 exchange. Mm-hmm. From there, as far as the lender goes, I reach out to the intermediary of the 1031 I talk to them, make sure that you're identifying the property, and then we just treat it like a non-owner occupied property as far as the lending part on that goes. So overall, it seems complicated, but it's not as complicated as you want. You just want to make sure that you are following the rules established by the IRS, and then make sure that you're working with your lender to follow the rules on non-owner occupied properties.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. And here's a little secret too, guys. We actually teach classes about how to avoid capital gains altogether when you sell some properties. So if you guys want to get involved in those classes that we teach on a regular basis, please reach out to either one of us via either our messages or our contact information online. And we'll see you guys all next time.
have a great week and happy St. Patty's Day.